Hello and welcome to the United Forum. This is your latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and your opportunity to voice your opinion out for the very first time in Sri Lanka. Disappointment yet again, Manchester United to Leicester City 4. You talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's ultimate test being these few fixtures against the likes of Leicester City, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Atalanta, the UCL games coming on. This being the ultimate test. And out of these tough fixtures, Leicester on paper was the easiest fixture for Manchester United, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to turn things around from this recent bad form we've been in recently, in fact. And yet again, disappointment. A lot of questions once again to be asked from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. His substitutions, in my opinion, were not the right substitutions. His tactics, in fact, once again to be questioned. Two goals conceded on set pieces. We have a specialist set piece coach, Eric Ramsey. What is happening here? Maguire's selection to be questioned. Rashford not starting after a solid 60 minutes to be questioned again. Frustration again, to be honest. My weekend was ruined. And when things like this happen, when results like this come, I actually even think if I should be doing the show because it's really frustrating because it's not just one match, it's not just two matches. It's this consistency of being inconsistent and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's stubbornness. You talk about Marcus Rashford. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out in that press conference saying that Marcus Rashford played a solid 60 minutes behind closed doors and he looked sharp, he looked clinical, and yet he is benched. While he said that Harry Maguire's first time on the grass was a few days back after that injury, and 24 hours later he's starting against Leicester City, a must-win game for us. Luke Shaw himself came out and said that he hardly trained, but if Manchester United ever need him, he is always ready to give his best. Luke Shaw starts. You've got Alex Telles on the bench. Telles doesn't start. Eric Bailey signs a new contract, expecting game time. Maguire is injured, first time on grass, and Eric Bailey is being benched. Was he even on the bench? I'm not quite sure. And Maguire starts ahead of Eric Bailey. In fact, Marcus Rashford, who had been given solid 60 minutes in that practice game, is now being benched. And once he came, I really thought he was sharp. Yes, he was clinical. It was a good goal, a good assist once again. But what's the point in all that? We've lost the game 4-2. Two goals conceded on set pieces. Almost two goals. That one goal which was conceded by Harry Maguire's mistake. I think it was almost two goals which was conceded because of Harry Maguire. And is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing the dressing room? Because right after the match, Paul Pogba came out and said that we have been losing, we have been having results like this in the past, in the recent past, and we really don't know what is going wrong. Something is going wrong. Something has to change, is what Paul Pogba said. Is that him hinting that he does not like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Is that a hint of that the dressing room is going on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer losing the dressing room? Because from what I read, what the sources say is that right after the match, Cristiano Ronaldo once again was walking towards the tunnel. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approached him to go and thank the away fans, but Ronaldo refused and kept walking into the tunnel. So a lot of questions if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is losing the dressing room. I think he is because I definitely think Pogba. I definitely think he has lost Pogba there, and this might start to grow now. We've seen it against in fact, we've seen it with Mourinho. Are we going to see that again with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Mourinho was sacked right after the game against Liverpool. The next Premier League game we have is against Liverpool. Are we going to witness that? I'll tell you what, the right thing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to do right now is, while he has his reputation as a legend at Manchester United, the right thing for him to do right now is to save that reputation of his. Resign as the manager. I know you've got this squad. You've rebuilt Manchester United from a huge dip. You've brought them out of darkness into light. That from the squad we were a few days back. In fact, a few years back, we had the likes of Andreas Pereira, Daniel James, Jesse Lingard, Antonio Valencia. Marouane Fellaini, Ashley Young, Phil Jones. These were our players at the time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in. He brought in new recruits. He changed the team. He changed the system. Yes, it's not very convincing. The system is not very convincing. His system, his brand of football is not very good. Does not look good. In fact, we don't know if he has a brand of football. His style of play is not there yet, but he has changed this squad completely. Yes, as a legend, Manchester United legend, he came. He managed in when he needed someone to come in throughout our dark times and change in that squad. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took the responsibility into his shoulders and completely changed that squad, and it's far more better now and one of the best squads in Europe. But can he handle the pressure? You look at Chelsea a few seasons back, the same thing happened with Frank Lampard. In fact, Frank Lampard was back. I've told this a couple of times as well. Frank Lampard was back. The expectations were high. Was he able to handle the expectations? No, they both saw it, that the results were on the fence. There were a few wins, a few good patches, a few bad patches, and the owners sacked Lampard. And when Lampard was sacked, even the Chelsea fans were not sure if Lampard was to be sacked because he was a club legend. But that's the competency that Chelsea board had and shows the incompetency the Glazers had. Because if the Glazers are competent, the fans, the Manchester United fans won't have to control things. We won't have to go out saying Ollie in, Ollie out, Ollie out. Because if the Glazers are competent, they would have done that by now. If they think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the man, which I think the pressure is way too much on him right now, I think the right thing for him to do is to step down. And if the Glazers were competent, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wouldn't be having this job at the moment. Things would have been much different, in fact. And unfortunately, it's the other way around. It's the fans who have to act for each and everything at Manchester United. We saw it with Mourinho. We are seeing it. We are witnessing it with Oli at the moment as well. So a lot of disappointment throughout the week. We talk about a title race. Let me tell you what, the title race is over. We are about 5 points behind the leaders at the moment. I think that's Liverpool, and we've not played the top 6 as of yet. We've not played Spurs, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, and who is the other team? Chelsea, Liverpool, City, Spurs. Well, Arsenal is no more the top 6, so maybe Leicester. Yes, let's take Leicester as one of the top 6 as well. But on paper, out of those big fixtures, I don't know what's happening to me today. Out of those big fixtures, Leicester on paper were the easiest, and to be honest, their form this season was not their best. They have been okay, they have been bad, they have been good throughout the season. They have not been consistent, and I think once again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United have made sure that they gain their consistency this season. Unfortunately, a game we should have won. I thought the goals we conceded were stupid. Goals we shouldn't be conceding at Manchester United, and the goals we scored were not team goals. I wouldn't say these were team goals because Mason Greenwood keeps scoring goals out of nothing, while that Marcus Rashford goal once again was playing from the back. Leicester did not expect it, and it was a good goal. Yes, it was a good goal. It was a good assist. But once again, did we see that creativity? Where was Pogba? Where was Fernandez? Yes, Fernandez had that assist, but I know it goes as an assist, but all he had to do was to pass it to Mason Greenwood, and it was a wonder goal once again, a goal out of nothing by Mason Greenwood. We are lucky to have this kid at Manchester United. And once again, Dahia world class today, and trust me, the game ended 4-2. Had it not been for Dahia, that game would have ended 7 or 8-2. And trust me, we are at the moment at 15 or 14 points in the league table as well. And once again, had it not been for Dahia's top form this season, we would have only been at 2 or 3 points and somewhere at the bottom of the table fighting for relegation. So I think a huge up to Dahia. He's been in superb form. So hats off to him as well. We'll move on to the player ratings and match. In fact, the player ratings straight away. Really frustrating. I really don't want to keep talking about matches today. Not just yesterday. Throughout the past few weeks, the results have been frustrating. Atalanta, I hope a miracle. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer pulls out a miracle. I know I've kept saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to pull out a miracle. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been a lucky manager throughout his career. is that luck running out? Because if that luck is running out, and something we did see yesterday was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming out and admitting that it was his fault, because it was his fault picking Maguire, and for certain other things it's as well. He did take the blame. He did take the blame. Goodness sake. Uh, so that is something new we've seen from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But is it too little, too late? Because he's got to change things, and yesterday was a perfect game to do so. He's got to bring out a style of play. He's got to convince the fans right now. He's got to convince those doubters, prove them wrong, show them that he's got tactics, that tactically he can do something. What I feel right now from that team selection is that I know the fans have been calling Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a baby-faced assassin, a soft guy, this and that, just to show that he has control right now, just to show that he has control right now. I feel that he keeps selecting Pogba, the likes of Matic at times. I know Pogba has to start, Matic has to start. Why I think he picked Harry Maguire yesterday was somewhat that. The reason, in fact, and why he picks Scott McTominay and Fred as well at times is to show that he is the one who is handling this team, and he is not the babyface assassin people call him. He is not that, innocent, soft guy people call him. And why I also think he dropped Ronaldo against Everton was to prove that as well, because before an international break, name a manager who would rest his team. Are you really resting your player so that he could go perform on that international stage? If I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if I was the Manchester United manager, I wouldn't have played Luke Shaw for that Everton game as well. That way, Luke Shaw is injured, he cannot be picked for England, and I would have started Ronaldo. I know Cavani was a good pick. If he was to start, he shouldn't have been substituted in the first place, because that was way too early. Anyway, the Everton game was Everton. We're talking about Leicester. Blunders all over again. Tactically, I'll tell you what, tactically, Brendan Rodgers schooled us. He played with two strikers. He knew Harry Maguire was suffering with an injury. He knew Lindelof and Harry Maguire are weak. He played with two strikers, Vardy and Iheanacho. Vardy has got his pace. Iheanacho is a good striker. He made use of that so that Vardy and Iheanacho could make use of Harry Maguire and Lindelof, because Brendan Rodgers himself knew that Maguire and Lindelof won't be able to handle these two strikers, and that is why he cut out the two wingers and went for two strikers. Basically, Brendan Rodgers schooled Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tactically. Brand of play, style of play, don't even talk about that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment. It's just freestyle play. I think the goals we scored are clear evidence of that. And this team selection once again to be questioned. I thought that midfield is the midfield I want to see throughout the season. But yet, even after picking Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic, we have scored 4 goals. You bring in a set-piece specialist, Eric Ramsey, and yet we concede, in fact, 2 goals once again. Rafael Varane has been added to that defense, and yet we still don't have the number of clean sheets we should be having with that defense we have. So a lot of questions to be asked, yet we've still not got our answers. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the right man to take Manchester United forward? Do send in your opinions, your thoughts, and your questions, anything Manchester United related, on the live chat as well, because it is your comments that keeps the show running. And as I rate my players, do send in your ratings and your thoughts as well. To start off, I'll just take this off as well, since I've got to have my players on that side. So there we go, I'll just take off that. To start off with David De Gea, numero uno, once again a world-class performance. Yuri Tielemans had a superb shot on goal. Let me tell you what, that goal Tielemans scored was world-class. I thought the finesse was superb. And once again, that was to take the lead. Was it the lead, or was it to add to the lead? I'm not quite sure. It was an equalizer. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, Yuri Tielemans had a good shot on goal again, and I thought that touch by De Gea, that save, is what saved us there. And apart from that, De Gea too saved us many times, but yet we conceded 4 goals. For Manchester United, De Gea was the man of the match. And when you concede 4 goals, and your goalkeeper is the man of the match, I think that speaks volumes, and I don't have to give further explanation. So with David De Gea, I've given him an 8. I thought he was superb yesterday. A match that should have gone 8-2, 7-2, he got it down to 4-2. And had it not been for Dahya this season so far, I think we would have been on 2 to 3 points. With all honesty. So there we go, an 8 for David Dahya. Do send in your ratings, your thoughts, anything Manchester United related on the live chat as well. Akif Ahmed sends love. Thanks a lot to all of you. As well, do keep sending your comments as well on the screen. In fact, on the live chat, and do give me a moment while I sort out my live chat because this doesn't seem to be working. Yeah. So let's go on. Let's go on with the live. In fact, player ratings as well. Moving from David Dahya, we move on to Aaron Van Bissaka. And before I do move on, do give me a minute because my live chat doesn't seem to be working. So yes, do give me a moment. Apologies on that. Is it still working? Nope. So do give me a minute. Apologies for this. Real apologies for this. Because my live chat doesn't seem to be coming on screen. So let me just try to fix that up. Let me just try to fix that up. So that you guys can be seen on screen. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yep. There we are. I think that's much better. As well. Akif Ahmed once again sends love. Mahdi Shibli has a few comments to say as well. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. So moving on, we've got Aaron Van Bissaka uh, as well. So let's rate him. And there we go, Aaron Van Bissaka. Apart from David Dahya, I thought Aaron Van Bissaka was defensively, considering the defense. I thought apart from David Dahya, Aaron Van Bissaka was our best defender because Luke Shaw seemed to be off game, Harry Maguire seemed to be off game. Definitely Maguire was off game. He was injured. He shouldn't have started yesterday in the first place. And Lindelof was off game. Lindelof, was he good? Did he do anything exceptional? No, but yes, Aaron Van Bissaka was decent, just not good enough yesterday. So yes, I've given him a 5. Do send in your ratings, your thoughts, anything Manchester United related questions, anything you've got, your opinion on that live chat because it is what you guys say that keeps the show running as well. Apologies if you are not seeing the live chat on screen because my live chat doesn't seem to be working and I'm not quite sure what is happening as well because I did copy the URL and paste it as well but just doesn't seem to be working. Uh, Trying to fix it one more. I'll just give it one more try because this is taking up quite a lot of time. So I'll just give it a try one more time. Give it a try one more time. And if it doesn't work, I am really sorry because I really don't know what is going on at the moment. Seemed to work yesterday though. Nope, nope. Unfortunately, no, it's not working yet. Apologies for that. But let's go on with the show because this seems to be taking time. From Aaron Wan Bissaka, we move on to Victor Lindelof. Uh, about Lindelof, did he have a good game? Not quite sure if he really did have a good game. Once again, I thought it was one-off game, especially for our defense. Our set pieces were, in fact, when we defended set pieces from the opposition, I thought we were crap. We've got a specialist, like I told you, we've got a set piece specialist in Eric Ramsey, and yet we concede 2 goals. Man marking, is it the way to go? I'm not. In fact, zonal marking was not the way to go for us. Here and there, we see man marking at times, we see zonal marking here and there. Not quite sure what is going on, but things don't seem to be sorted out in that defense. We've been caught out on the counter attack. Last season, plenty of times we've conceded on last season. In fact, plenty of times we conceded on the this one as well. What do you call the set pieces as well? And once again, yesterday, 2 set pieces and 2 crap goals to concede. I thought our defense was terrible, and Victor Lindelof himself did not have a very good game, and that is why I've given Victor Lindelof a 4 is what I've given Victor Lindelof as well. One-off game again. If you do have a different rating, do send in your ratings on the live chat as well. We move on from Victor Lindelof to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, I really don't have to tell you about this. The goal that we conceded was because of him. Is David De Gea partly a victim of the goal we conceded? The first goal we conceded, I'm not quite sure about that, but Harry Maguire should have played that pass quite early on. He shouldn't have waited for so long. Apart from that, he still had an off game. Doesn't seem to be there yet. Along with Luke Shaw, I think Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw after the Euros for Manchester United haven't still been up to that mark they were last season. And Harry Maguire definitely shouldn't have started yesterday. Eric Bailey should have started. He seems to be still playing with that injury. You can't really blame Maguire, can you? Because it is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who picks him in that starting 11 as well. And when you pick as the captain, I think if I was the captain and my manager told me, George, you've got to go and play. And as the captain, I have to take up that responsibility, and I will like definitely all right. I'm not quite sure if I'll give out my best, but yes, I can go and do a job right there. So yes, I'll go. But I think it was not the match for Ali. In fact, Harry Maguire, and that is why I've given him a 4 again. Was being caught out on the press way too many times as well. And not good enough. Abdul Khalik says time for a haircut. No, not yet, nay. Not yet, mate. Let's just wait for a few more times. It's still COVID. It's still COVID as well. It's still COVID as well. So you're not quite safe enough to get into the saloons as well. So let's just be patient. Let's just be patient. Moving on from Harry Maguire, we have the final play on defense. We've got Luke Shaw on defense as well. Once again, I still think Luke Shaw is playing with that injury. So I'm not quite sure what is actually happening with Luke Shaw, because during past few seasons we've seen Luke Shaw being injured quite a lot of times, and this season once again he was injured, and right after injury we saw Alex Telles come in for that Champions League game. And before the match, Luke Shaw himself came out and said that he has not touched the ball or trained yet, but if Manchester United need him, he is ready to go out there and deliver a performance. He shouldn't have started. Alex Telles is on that bench. You talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being a good man manager. If he is really a good man manager, I think he should be bringing players like Alex Telles, Diego Dalot, Eric Bailey. The other midfielders we've got, Donny van der Beek, proper game time, because that is what a man manager should do. He is not a man manager. In fact, he is just a man manager for his favorites, because he just keeps regularly playing his favorites and leaves out the likes of Telles, Dalot, Bailey, Donny van der Beek. And I think it's high time Manchester United fans quit thinking about having having Donny van de Beek on that field, playing as a Manchester United player. Moving on from Luke Shaw, we move on to our midfield and to start off with Nemanja Matic. About Matic, for me, the midfield throughout the season should be Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba. Yesterday we did see Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba, but yet we concede 4 goals. Are they really the guy to go for? To give me a minute, I've got my live chat back. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, that's so good to see, to be honest. Perfect. Not quite sure what was wrong there. To start off, let me just pop this chat out. Pop this chat out. There we are. So about Nemanja Matic, we talk about being Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba being the consistent midfield people that should be playing for Manchester United throughout this season, because we know that Scott McTominay and Fred are just not good enough for Manchester United. But yesterday we did see them play and we conceded 4 goals once again. So you really can't blame them. I thought they have plenty of faults in the defense as well. The defense was not doing their job. It was not good enough, and we conceded 2 goals from set pieces. Matic, considering Matic, I thought he had an off game. He looked quite lively. To be honest, Nemanja Matic is the best holding midfielder we have, and he looked quite good during the first few minutes, first half an hour. And from that 70th minute onwards, I thought Matic was fading out. I think he was running out of minutes on his legs. So should Manchester United have really kept him this season, I thought he should have been sold, and that money should have been invested in another quality midfielder. But Manchester United being Manchester United, things go the other way around. I've given Matic a 5. An off game once again, just not good enough. And unfortunate, a bad day at the office for not just Matic, not just Maguire. In fact, Manchester United as a whole as well. Moving on from Matic, we move on to Paul Pogba. You talk about ice in the veins. Not quite sure what he had yesterday, because Paul Pogba looked off game for me, with all honesty. Paul Pogba looked off game. You know, there were a few phases where I did see Paul Pogba moving forward, and I was like, finally, Manchester United fans get to witness what it is like when Paul Pogba gets that freedom to move forward. And I did see a few phases where he did move forward and giving a few good crosses. And suddenly I'm looking for Pogba on the field. He's nowhere to be seen. His tracking back is absolutely poor. He's way too slow. He just keeps jogging. I'm not quite sure if he does it intentionally or unintentionally. If Pogba does not like to be here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to sort it out. Bench him. Either you got to start Van de Beek, because if Pogba is unhappy, he does not want to play for Manchester United. He is not interested in playing for Manchester United. He should not be started. And yesterday, right after the match, Paul Pogba came out and also emphasized on the fact that we've been having inconsistent results like this for quite a number of times now, and something has to change, because something isn't going right for Manchester United. And I think what he said there is definitely true, because we've seen how consistently Manchester United have been inconsistent. Something had to change. He did say something has to change. Is he trying to say that the manager has to change? Is he hinting out on the fact that he is Ole out? Not quite sure about that as well. So we'll have to wait and see what actually happens with this Paul Pogba situation. Moving on. From Paul Pogba, we've got Bruno Fernandez. Once again, another assist for Bruno Fernandez. I thought he was off game yesterday. I think you really can't blame Bruno Fernandez. It's Manchester United as a whole. We don't play to a system. We don't know who to pass the ball to. Our defenders don't know who to pass the ball to. We don't have a proper style of play. Once we get the ball, there are times where the players are lost. They're looking for players to pass through because now the teams, the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, once a player gets the ball, he knows where he has to pass the ball to. He knows where he has to go to. But considering Manchester United, I really don't see that happening because we wait, we look for a forward run, and then we pass the ball. Because if you are playing to a system, you know who you have to pass. You know who you have to pass the ball to. And considering Bruno Fernandez, I think at times he moves way too forward because at times he's way up that field and he shouldn't be there. He almost plays as a second striker, whereas that is not his role. And if that is his role, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should start playing Cavani. That way you can play Cavani and Ronaldo if you are playing a second striker, because Bruno Fernandes doesn't seem to be a second striker for me. He should be a number 10, feeding those passes and creating chances and not playing as a second striker. I thought Bruno Fernandes yesterday too had an off game, and that is why I've gone with a 5. I think this is the first time I'm going below average for Bruno Fernandes, which is quite disappointing to see and tells you the situation at Manchester United, in fact, which is once again, like I told you, a disappointing thing to see. Moving on from Bruno Fernandes, we've got Jaden Sancho. Sancho once again, I thought at times he looked quite good, at times he did not. I thought once again it was an off game for Jaden Sancho. For me, Jaden Sancho should be playing on the right. Play on the right, start adapting to that position, build that relationship, that chemistry with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Mason Greenwood have been looking better than Luke Shaw and whoever plays on that left wing, because I think our right side is working together more than the left team at the moment, and that is why I think Jadon Sancho should start playing on the right, adapting. You talk about adaptation, he's got to adapt onto that position. He has to know what his role is at Manchester United if he is to adapt fast, and that is why he should play, build that chemistry, grow that relationship, and I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Jaden Sancho will be a good duo for us on that right flank. You talk about not having creativity on the right side last season, and that is why we bought Jaden Sancho. But we still see him play out of position. Are we going to see that change in future? Are we going to see Marcus Rashford and Jaden Sancho start out on the wing? I hope and pray that this change and we see Jaden Sancho and Marcus Rashford start on the wing, because he has been playing consistently on that left flank, because Greenwood has been in quite good form. I hope and pray that changes, because I really want to see Jadon Sancho on the right. And for me, my rating this match for Jadon Sancho once again is a 5. I think yet he did not look good enough yesterday for me as well. He's still adapting. He'll take his time. I think as Manchester United fans, we shouldn't be too worried about Jadon Sancho, because we've seen what Sancho does at Dortmund. Though he has slow starts, we've seen what he does towards the end of the season, how destructive he can be and how good he can be. So as Manchester United fans, I think we shouldn't be worried, but he should start playing on the right flank as soon as possible. Moving on from Jadon Sancho, we move on to Cristiano Ronaldo once again on that graveyard shift, like Mark Goldbridge says. No service. I really wanted to tweet this out yesterday that Cristiano Ronaldo is officially out of service, because Luke Shaw has been poor. There hasn't been any creativity from him. There hasn't been any good crosses from him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we know his offensive output is not that good. And neither have we seen any other players creating those chances for Cristiano Ronaldo. Players coming out, fans coming out and saying that Manchester United have only worsened because of Cristiano Ronaldo. Listen, if you are a manager of Manchester United, and if you are a proper manager, you know what you are going to get from Cristiano Ronaldo at the age of 36. You know you are not going to get that press from him, because he is reserving his energy for other moments, because he is 37 and he can't press now. He can't press, in fact, because he is aging. He needs to reserve that energy for other moments as well, and that is why he does not press. And you shouldn't be blaming Cristiano Ronaldo for that, because if you are a proper manager, you'll work a system to get the best output from Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll tell you what, if Ronaldo had signed for Manchester City, he would have scored 30 to 40 goals this season. Had he signed for Chelsea, he would have got 30 to 40 goals this season. Had he signed for Liverpool, he would have got 30 to 40 goals this season. With Manchester United, I think it's going to be about 15 to 20 goals, to be honest, the way things are going, because there is no service, there is no creativity, and neither does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have a system to work his way for Cristiano Ronaldo. And that is why I've given Ronaldo a 5 as well. How often do you see this happening? How often do you see the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandez get a 5? Shows you how bad of a performance yesterday was. And I just don't want to talk about yesterday's performance. Let's just get going with it. Their ratings. Moving on from Cristiano Ronaldo, we've got Mason Greenwood as well. Once again, Wonder Kid scored a goal out of nothing. Once again, that wasn't a team goal. Once again, individual brilliance scores a goal out of nothing, gives Manchester United the lead. Unfortunate for him, it was a wonder goal, a good goal. I really know how that feeling is to score a goal like that and to lose even after you score a wonder goal like that is really heartbreaking. Greenwood, because of that goal at the age of 19, to be doing what he is doing, I've given Greenwood a 6. I've given Greenwood a 6. Do send in your opinions, your ratings, your questions, anything Manchester United related on the live chat as well. Moving on from Mason Greenwood, we move on to our next forward. That is, in fact, the substitutes. Once again, talk about the substitutes. I really don't want to talk about the substitutes because apart from Marcus Rashford, I thought the substitutes we got were not the right substitutes. Jesse Lingard came in. Was he the right substitution for me? No. Was Scott McTominay the right substitution? No. We needed someone creative on that midfield. It was Van de Beek's match. But we know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not trust Van de Beek. And yes, definitely Van de Beek was not going to come in. He brings in Scott McTominay. I really don't understand why Scott McTominay came in there. He came in and I barely saw him do anything. And it was the same with Lingard. There was one shot Lingard took, which I thought he should have made a pass, in fact, and that final pass maybe would have changed things, and still the score would have been 3-2. And to start off with our substitutions, I've got Marcus Rashford. And no, I've not rated him a 6. Have I rated him a 6? Yes, it is a 6 for Marcus Rashford as well. A good goal to be scoring, I thought. In fact, a good goal to score. I thought he should have started. You talk about Marcus Rashford getting solid 60 minutes behind closed doors. You talk about him looking sharp, tackles coming flying in at training. You talk about him looking clinical and him playing good 60 minutes behind closed doors before the match week and doesn't start. Maguire first time on grass, 24 hours later he starts. I'm not really quite sure what is going on with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A good goal, a good way to come back, shows how vital he is for Manchester United, and that is why I've given Marcus Rashford a 6. Unfortunately, I'm not being able to trim that picture. I've got to change that picture as well. Moving on, we've got Scott McTominay. Not the best of games for him. I thought wrong substitution. You can't blame him. He's only going to Solskjaer who sends him as well. It was not the right substitution. We needed creativity. We needed someone to push the ball forward, change the tempo of the play, to bring those hits up. Is Scott McTominay the man to do that? In my opinion, he's not. I've given him a 4. From Scott McTominay, we move on. We move on to Jesse Lingard. Once again, Jesse Lingard has been the super sub, and on in that international break, rumors coming in saying that he has to leave. He is leaving. He is disappointed that he is not being able to start. Calling the super sub comes in, did not really do much. Had a shot on goal. He should have passed. Not the right substitution for me once again. But looking at that bench, I thought they have a better place. He should have bought in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that is why I've given Jesse Lingard a 4 as well. Not the right substitution. Regarding the substitution, considering substitution, he really can't do much because it is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who picks him. But even after coming onto that field, he really did not change things because what was happening is what kept on happening. In fact, it got worse. We were 2-1, and once the substitutions came, it went down to 2-4. Was it 2-1? Yes, it was 2-1 when the substitutions came in, and once the substitutions came in, the scoreline went to 2-4. Really doesn't shows that the substitutions haven't made the best of impacts. In fact, they've made things even more worse. And finally, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Tactics, does he even have tactics? I'm not quite sure about that. Tactics got it wrong. Poor on tactics, style of play. We are yet to see that from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Brand of football. Yet to see from that. Yet to see that from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Coaching. We talk about defending set pieces. That is having set piece specialists. We still concede 2 goals on set pieces. Once again, he got it wrong. Their substitutions, he got it wrong. Their starting 11, considering the fact that he started Maguire and Shaw, was it the right choice? Once again, got that wrong. I thought Marcus Rashford should have started, and maybe you take off Greenwood or Sancho for him. So once again, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets it wrong. I tell you what, he is running out of time, and Manchester United fans are starting to get frustrated about this. In fact, I myself personally is fed up. I am fed up, in fact. I've been repeating the same thing over and over again on the show. He gets the same thing wrong over and over again on the show. It's really frustrating, and I really don't want to make any comments at the moment. I hope he pulls out a miracle against Atalanta. He's got to change things in that Champions League game. He's got another chance against the Champions League. He's not been sacked. According to sources, his job is 100% secure as of now, and things might change after the Liverpool match. Are we going to see what happened with Jose Mourinho after the Liverpool game? I'm not quite sure, but for the best of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I said, I think he has to resign, save the reputation he has for himself at the moment. Resign as a proper manager who has rebuilt Manchester United, and show that he is just not the man to take them to the final step, and he realizes that he does not have that experience just yet. Go out there, resign, go out there, manage a few other teams, change things around, and maybe then come back to Manchester United and prove prove those people wrong. I'm sorry, Ollie. I'm really sorry, but I have to do this. I've given you a two. Everything wrong, same mistakes being repeating again and again and again. And to be honest, if I keep commenting on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's just me repeating the same thing again and again and again, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps repeating the same mistakes again and again and again. Well, that is pretty much it for today, folks. And just before I move on, just before I go, let me just have a check on the live chat. Yes, we've got a few chats as well, so let me get that on screen. So do hold up, as I've been having a few problems with my live chat, which is quite frustrating, to be honest. Which is quite frustrating because it did work last week and doesn't seem to be moving. And there we go. Fia Vlog says, well done, brother. Keep it up. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to you, Fia Vlogs, as well, for all the love shown. If you are new to this channel, do give us a subscribe, share this video, give us a like as well. At the moment, we are at 130 subscribers. We are looking to get to 150 by the 31st of October. So do give us a subscribe, give this video a like, and share this video as well. And do tune in every Friday and Sunday at 10 p.m. for our live show as well. And do follow us on our Instagram page as well for your latest Manchester United news throughout the week. And there we go. Let me just get you that username as well. There we go. That is the username for our Instagram page. And if you are a little lazy to go type that username on the search bar, the links in the description. Do go head out to our link, and we've got a few links there as well. We've got the FPL link. If you are an FPL fan, a fantasy Premier League player, do go head out to that link as well, and do join our league. And do click on the link for the in fact the Instagram page as well, and give us a follow there, and stay tuned for our latest matches, for your latest Manchester United news. That is pretty much it, folks. I hope and pray all of you guys have had a good weekend. Definitely not for me after Manchester United's results, and I've got a long week coming up as well. Until I see you next Friday, or that is at 10 p.m. For the pre-match press conference reaction. Have a good night and a blessed week. This is the United Forum.